every parent out there. It's a warning to every parent. Amy and I thought we were pretty attentive, but somehow we missed the boat. And you obviously when you hear about this as a father, you're not only devastated to hear your kid, but you're devastated of how you didn't protect your child. So. We're worried about Jacob's recovery, and also worried about my own sense of worth and self as a father, how I could drop the ball so badly, and I thought I was doing all the right things. It wasn't enough.
Walk me through this. Let's start with the Jacob incident here. I read, which was a very heartwarming post that he put out on Instagram about this. That was when I, and I guess the rest of the world, became aware of this. When did you become aware of this entire thing with Jacob being molested?
We as a family found out just 2 days or 2 or 3 days before that. Jacob sent out a text to the family, the group text, and it was hard. It was a heartbreaking revelation. It caught us all by surprise. We had no idea, and he obviously explained that this had happened back in 2015. It was a single incident. It didn't happen on the farm. It happened, off the farm, and he, it's one of those things where you think you've braced your family and you prepared your kids for things like that, and you talk to them about it regularly. We had some other scares in the early days when everybody was young, and we were very protective. Particularly, we were worried about Molly becoming involved in something. We had when we did the show, we had a number of fans that were overzealous to, get to various members of the family that they were fixated on. And so we always thought something bad would come from somebody. We didn't realize it would be somebody so close. So the Jacob thing was heartbreaking, a lot of tears, but we were also very, 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 very proud of Jacob and the way that he came out and talked about his, getting this off his mind and chest so that he could develop and continue his growth. I think were his words. His post said it all, and his public revelation said everything we needed to know, and we were all taken aback and devastated by it, to think that something so crazy and evil can happen so close inside the family. But I just saw Jacob this last week, and I've talked to him on the phone several times since. Him and I and Isabel, his wife, keep a close relationship. Every time he's here on the farm, we visit for a while and talk. And right now, he's really into Jacob's a super duper duper smart kid. He reads. He go to his house. He's just layered with books and musical instruments, and he is into the science of dirt and fertile soil. Dad, you got to start a compost pile. So him and I are connecting recently on composting and microbiology and all the little bugs and worms that eat compost and make it fertile and stuff. So I'm very, very excited about connecting on that. And Jacob seems to be putting this incident behind him, and so that's what we're working with him on that. We're open to talk about it, but he seems to have a handle on his own development and what have you.
And I'll be honest with you, Matt, there's no telling how many people he may have prevented from being in a situation, or how many people he inspired to come forward in their own story to share it with their families. And I've had Navy SEAL Craig Sawyer on the podcast a few times. He started the program Vets for Child Rescue. He goes after these sexual predators, and he talks a lot about this grooming process that Jacob went through with this predator. And it is a bigger problem than most people are aware of. And there's so many of these people that are out there, and the result, the path of destruction they leave behind is very detrimental.
Well, you hear about just a fraction of them going on the news and TV, but there's still so many that you can't. And, this can happen anytime, anywhere. It can happen in your neighborhood, it can happen to your family members. When you're not looking, you can happen in your church or schools or your sports teams. So Every parent out there, I mean, certainly it was a wake up call for me, even though my kids are grown, we have grandkids, it's a double down effort to make, more rules, more precaution, figure out how to be more open about discussing things, and every person out there needs to be aware of this stuff. We thought we had a lot of rules about access and this, and this happened in an incident. This person was no longer associated with the farm or the show, or what had happened years after his association, but came back into Jacob's life somehow, and it was sort of an evil process that went on, from what we understand, we're just, but now it's like, okay, we got to redouble our efforts. Every parent out there, it's a warning to every parent. Amy and I thought we were pretty attentive, but somehow we missed the boat. And you obviously, when you hear about this as a father, you're not only devastated to hear your kid, but you're devastated of how you didn't protect your child. So, we're worried about Jacob's recovery, and also worried about my own sense of worth and self as a father, how I could drop the ball so badly, and I thought I was doing all the right things. It wasn't enough.
Yeah, and it's close to my heart. My wife went through sexual abuse as a child, so she's super alert when it comes to things like identifying people who are around our kids. Has your vetting process? I know when pumpkin season comes, you hire on a lot more people to come onto the farm and help. Now you have little grandkids running around. Has your vetting process changed at all as a result of what's happened here with Jacob?
Yeah, we've always been pretty good about running background checks, particular vendors and people that are close, whether it be production or employees. But we now have those rules have doubled, tripled, and we realize anything is possible. And you just turn it back for a second, and there's the wrong relationship starting to. So I would say our vetting process is definitely, there's a whole new layer of concern and caution about this, especially we're talking a lot to Zach and Tori and Jeremy and Audrey, just like trying to understand how stuff like this happens, and what those signs are, and try to prevent things from going on. So we're super protective.